Hey everyone, thanks for taking a quick couple of minutes to check out Cargologik. My name is Miles John Varghese and I'm co-founder and CEO of the venture, helping independent freight forwarders and brokers to better stay in sync, collaborate, and improve operations with their customers who are shippers. Cargologik itself is specifically a freight collaboration and communication platform, not to be misconstrued with a warehouse management system, a transportation management system, or a cargo operating system for that matter. Instead, you can think of us as a customer experience focused operating layer that exists between the independent freight forwarder and their existing systems, where we are able to integrate via API and the shipper, and giving the shipper more transparency in one place where they can streamline their communication, their documents, and their logistics timelines, and be able to see and get a better understanding of how all of their shipments are performing at any point in time on whatever device that they're on. Telling you a little bit more about the venture itself, Cargologik started as a joint venture between Grupo Holco and Rocker Labs. My co-founder, Luis F. Trujillo Jr., started off the venture working in his family's freight forwarding company called Lagunsa, where we started mocking up and building the core of the platform. I joined the team in the fall of 2019, where Luis, having tremendous amount of experience, helped me understand freight forwarding, and I clearly saw an opportunity similar to Octopi amongst the smaller players in the space who largely had been ignored. The problem itself and the reason why we exist at a very high level is that in 2020, more than 775 million TEU were transported and handled worldwide. And when you divide that by 2 TEU, you roughly get 388 million 40-foot tractor trailers, and that's a lot of tractor trailers, enough to circle the globe 119 times. The industry itself is just massive, ever growing, and becoming ever complex. Specifically, a freight forwarder or broker manages and coordinates the movement of freight along that supply chain from point A to point B, whatever they're responsible of, on behalf of their clients who are shippers. And as you can see here, there are many different stages and opportunities to find better solutions, to improve operations, to build redundancy, to stay on top of signals and noise, and to make sure that that cargo moves on time and on budget while giving the customer the transparency and the intelligence and the communication that they need and that they've become accustomed to, even at the consumer level, such as Amazon and Alibaba. Talking a little bit more about the specific freight forwarding market, what we gathered from roughly 600 plus conversations over these last 2 years is that forwarders themselves cannot keep up with customer expectations and they face dwindling margins. And if you break that down, we can attribute that to two major themes. That moving freight, kind of like what we said earlier, is complex and it's continuing to get more complex. Global trade factors, spats, politics, new compliance regulations, new systems, new standards, and new modern solutions are providing more data than ever before, but that also requires more logins for you to remember. Just the nature of the business itself is extremely complex. The market itself in its current state and where things stand today is also extremely challenging from a competitive landscape perspective. As a smaller player, you do not have the economies of scale, the hundreds of offices, thousands of employees, and large tech budgets to provide what DHL, FedEx, Kuehne+Nagel, Amazon are able to provide to their customers. Additionally, you have the rise of digital forwarders and marketplaces that are aggregating a lot of the shipper demand and putting together the logistics partners on the back end, where for those logistics partners, often it means giving up some of their differentiation. And rather than become commoditized and eventually getting removed, we actually seek to empower the market. You're also seeing around the globe just general hesitancy. Folks looking over their shoulder at their former partners, specifically their logistics partners, such as Maersk, CMA, who've all built customer-facing and small business customers, former partners of the line and former customers that the freight forwarder and the broker themselves were responsible for aggregating. These bigger providers are actually building their own sort of solutions themselves now. And the reason why is because what everyone sort of knows and likes to kind of dismiss is that the current user experience and the relationship between that freight forwarder and their shippers and the other players, honestly, within the supply chain is very fragmented and broken. The reality is that you have hundreds of daily emails. Every morning you're waking up with another 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 emails. A lot of that is just wasted communication that doesn't mean anything to you. You're getting way too many text messages. Where's my cargo? 4 or 5 times a day from your loyal customers as well as new customers. Where's the documents, right? Searching for my Google Drive or your Dropbox often requires a lot of coordination and communication, and that's very difficult across time zones. You're also faced with a lot of calls happening all the time between the shipper and the forwarder, trying to figure out an issue or to come up with a plan or to solve something or maybe just gathering details. It's very difficult to operate in a strategic manner when you have loyal customers to balance and also new customers to potentially balance. And it's really hard to also think strategically when you're getting faced with all these emails, messages, and calls. You also have to face redundancy. And from our conversations, we've seen 30 to 50 emails per container. And when you do the math with the 2020 numbers, that's roughly 25 billion emails that were sent. And I don't know about you, but even just navigating, 10 or 15 long email threads can become quite a hassle. And the best search engines, and the best search tools within email also fail to do the job regularly. This presents an opportunity to build loyalty, to speed up the quoting process, to improve tracking, track and trace, to improve the customer experience tied to that, to be able to provide a DHL meets an Amazon logistics type of experience at an independent layer level is very valuable. Taking a lot of that broken communication across those emails, across those messaging systems is very difficult, and consolidating them is even more difficult. There's very few data storage solutions or analysis that's being provided when it comes to the manual storage of key documents as well. And thus, we see an opportunity for these independent players to build loyalty and to shift strategic focus from a customer perspective, where everyone is kind of offering the best sort of customer service, to a customer experience perspective where you have core functionality actually helping your end customer's business. So they don't need to text you anymore, hey, where's my cargo 4 or 5 times a day, or where's that document? And instead you can focus on winning new business or delivering or handling a problem or an exception that arose somewhere else. And here is where, you could really differentiate yourself by starting first with the core client pains that the just very nature of the industry has to deal with, that cost both parties a lot of repetitive tasks and redundancies, both in time and money as well. And thus, this is why we built Cargologik, which is a modern SaaS platform that is built to help these independent freight forwarders and brokers to better stay in sync and collaborate and improve operations with their customers, and taking a lot of the everyday communications, the more analog forms of communication, the calls, the texts, the emails, the maps, the Slack, the Teams, and the SMSs, the WhatsApp messages, and taking all that information and presenting it in a way where it's easy for both parties to find the key information that they need at any point in time on whatever device that they're on, as well as interact and query and approve certain quotes, booking, shipments, and other details that may need to be exchanged between both parties. And this is why the system itself is very much focused on the shipper as well as it is for the forwarder. And we can give these independent freight forwarders a very modern way where it's a lot easier for them to do business. And what we like to say is that we're providing at the independent freight forwarder level, almost like the Amazon B2B effect, where me as a forwarder, I can see all of my shipments across all of my customers, across all of my shippers on one screen, and vice versa, right? On the shipper side, what we're working on at Cargologik is also enabling these independent freight forwarders to also have that Amazon type effect, where they can see all of their shipments at any point in time across all of their operations on whatever device that they're on as well, giving both parties the clarity that they need to kind of stay on top of things, eliminating redundancy, helping with the management of quotes and bookings, simplifying communications, document storage, and also providing advanced reporting and analytics as well. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you taking a few minutes to check out Cargologik. If you have any additional questions that we can answer or a demo call, feel free to reach out to myself, and my contact information is here, or my co-founder, Luis F. Trujillo Jr., with his contact information presented here as well, if we can provide any additional support or guidance as you select the right freight forwarding collaboration platform for you. Thank you.